Good morning, everyone, and welcome to today's webinar, the BSMI Certification for C3 Batteries and Battery Chargers. I'm Shannon Given, the editor of Battery Power Magazine, and I'll be your moderator today. UL's representatives providing the webinar are /Chang, UL Senior Project Engineer. He'll be starting the webinar. Next, William Wang, UL Senior Project Engineer. And helping with the Q&A session, Nicole Tatum, Engineering Leader. A few notes for the attendees. To keep the webinar running smoothly, all attendees will be on mute mode. Attendees can raise questions by typing in the chat box in the lower right-hand corner at any time directly to me. We will try to do our best to answer all questions during the Q&A session. When you leave the webinar, please fill out a short survey. We appreciate your feedback. A copy of the presentation will be available on file. The recording will also be shared after the event. Thank you for your time and enjoy the presentation.
So, good morning, everybody. This is Slash speaking. So here is our agenda for today. The first topic will be the BSMI certification program overview, and the second is the 3C battery and battery charger clarification, and the third part is CB acceptance, fast market access. So I'll handle the first two topics, and William will help for the CB acceptance part. So let's go to the BSMI certification program overview. I make a chart, although it's very complicated, but actually there's a real world of a BSMI application. So for this time, regarding to the battery and battery chargers, it's already confirmed about the CCC core. We will explain later. And for this kind of product, it's already specified is in BSMI product scope, and it's a mandatory certification for this kind of product, and it's only applicable for the RPC certification scheme. For the RPC certification scheme, all the tests should be performed under the design testing lab, and all the relevant documentation and official application letter should be signed by a local importer. Then, when the package is done, we will submit the fully package to BSMI to register and get the RPC certificate. So you can see the red path is the for our topic today. Then we will go a little bit for the RPC scheme. For the RPC scheme, you can see there's two different, you can say is the local importer registration numbers. You can place under the BSMI certification mark or on the side of the BSMI certification mark. So for the sign of the certification scheme, it's all mandatory. For the certificate, it's only 3-year validity. So for BSMI application, we will need the local supplier or local importer become the certification holder. And also, the certification module is also confirmed by the commodity classification code, we call CCC code in Taiwan market. So here is another chart of the BSMI application. So for the applicant, you can go through UL, and then we will play as the agent or also the design testing lab, and then we will collect all the information, then provide to BSMI. After review all of the package, BSMI will issue the certificate. Then we will help to send the certificate to local importer. So here is the first part for the BSMI process overview. So let's go to the second part. 3C battery and battery charger clarification. So the background of this regulation is you can see there's an investigation of portable power banks reserve that no meeting of the standards. And this news is published on last year, October 21st. And here is the link of the news. But actually, this survey is already done in May 13 last year. Because in previous, there's a lot of accidents for the battery pack and the batteries. So Taiwan Consumer Protection Department just randomly bought 20 power banks from the market and the test for the safety part. So all of them failed in the maximum discharge performance of the rated capacity. It means all of the market rated capacity is higher than the test result. And all of them are in compliance with the label marking requirements. Some of them are lack of model name, some of them are lack of recycle symbol. So Consumer Protection Department pushed BSMI to publish such kind of new regulation to control this kind of product sold in the market and also to protect the public users. So here is the regulation overview. So you can see here is the 3 product types. The first one is the secondary lithium cells and packs. The exception is coin type. And the second group is secondary lithium power bank. The third group is the battery chargers. So you can also see there's a different standard applicable. Then we will have the harmonized standard for the two IEC standards. So you can see later for the standards. But I want to mention one of the things is only power bank and battery charger should comply with the EMI test. So you can keep this point in mind because we will explain later. All of these 3 product categories, they have to comply with the RPC certification scheme. So in this certification scheme, all of the tests should be performed under design testing lab, and only this kind of test report is accepted by BSMI. So here is the meaning of the module 2, to test in the design testing lab. And for the module 3 is the manufacturers the local importer have to declare their product is comply with BSMI regulations, and they have to use the traditional company stamp in the declaration letter and send to BSMI as the evidence to prove if in case of any trouble or accident happen in the Taiwan market. So in the end, you can see there's a product code, CCC code. Is also in control. In the regulation, BSMI mentioned if your product is not fall in this kind of CCC code, it still might be mandatory. For the clarification, we have to send the official clarification letter to BSMI's search section. So let's go to the next part. Here is the relevant standards. On the right side, there's the IEC standards, and the left side is the CNS standards. So in previous chart, we can see for the cell and packs, they have to only comply with the safety standards, no matter is 15.364, 99 version, or 102 version. So the harmonized standard is the IEC 62133 first edition or second edition. So for the power bank or the battery charger, let's go to the power bank first. For the power bank, they have to comply with CNS 15364 and CNS 14336-1. CNS 36-1 is harmonized with IEC 60950-1 second edition. And also, for the power bank, they have to also comply with CNS 1343895 version. It's harmonized with CISPR22. And for the battery charger, the applicant can choose CNS 14336-1 or 14408. So for the battery charger, they can pick the 950 to comply with or 65 to comply with. And both of the charger should be also tested with the EMI standard 1343895 version. So more details of the regulation. The announcement date is 2013 November 20th. And for this new regulation, mandatory day is this year, May 1st, for the product sold in the market. And in our previous slide, they also show CNS 15364-99 version is applicable, but the last expiry date is 2017 April 30th. So all of the tests should be performed by the design testing lab. So because by the word is not so easy to understand, so we make some graphics to make you to understand more. So for the rechargeable lithium battery pack and cells is in the first column, and for the power bank is in the second column. For the battery chargers, we will have more clarification later. So because we use in BSMI regulation, they use the 3C as the product name, and the 3C used in Taiwan market, we always call it include computer, communication, and consumer electronics in Taiwan market. So please don't mix with the China CCC certification. Here 3C is computer, communication, and consumer electronics. So in the latest BSMI meeting, they have some clarification for the 3C product clarifications. In the BSMI meeting minutes, the shaver, power tool, cell phone, RPC or NCC with lithium battery, for this kind of product, their chargers are in 3C mandatory scope. So if you have any doubt with the product is in 3C or not, you can raise your question to BSMI Section 3, and they will help to clarify if this kind of product is in or out of scope. And also, for the battery chargers, CB test report and certificate is not accepted to become the reference to convert to BSMI CNS test report. And for this kind of battery charger, they don't have any special test condition. And for this kind of charger, only AC to DC convert type battery charger are in the mandatory scope. So for the DC to DC convert type, or the maybe you will also know the wireless type is out of the scope. So for the other things, after May 1st, the product sold in market should be compliant with the new regulation. And the May 1st is determined by the clearance date in Taiwan custom. And there's a very unclear, but actually BSMI clarified if you have any maintenance or repair in Taiwan market, they will consider this kind of activity is business activities. So if you have this kind of product to sell or shipped in Taiwan market, they will fall in the new regulation requirements. So because in previous slide we also showed RPC or NCC products are also in this kind of scope, but if your product is already BSMI certified and you don't have any modification or amendment for the product, your cert can be used until the expiry date if no amendment or modification. So custom inspection is not required for this kind of product, but all these kind of products should be BSMI approved before launch in the market. So here is the clarify of the IEC 60950-1 CB test report and test certificate acceptance rule. You can see I categorize this kind of product in 3 different volumes. And for the first one, there's a generic type output or USB output. And this kind of adapter is going to charge the end product. And for this kind of product, BSMI will consider is a power adapter type. So for this kind of product, BSMI will accept CB test report to convert to CNS test report. So for this kind of case, the sample requirement will be reduced, and also the turnaround time or executing time will be shorter. So in the middle, you can see there's a battery compartment in all of these 3 kind of the battery chargers, especially for the generic batteries used in the market like AA or AAA type. This kind of product in previous in IEC scheme, they should have to comply with the household 63, 60, 35. But in BSMI scope, they will consider this kind of product have to comply with CNS 14336-1 or 14408. So this kind of product, because they will contain with AC to DC converter circuit, so they have to comply with the mandatory certification scheme. And the product name will be called as the battery charger. For this kind of product, the CB test report certificate will not be accepted. So for this kind of product, we will request more samples. And in the end, there's a DC to DC type, because there's a provide with the AC to DC adapter and also DC to DC dockings. For this kind of docking, is not applicable for the BSMI. It's out of the scope. So this kind of docking is not necessary to apply to the BSMI certification. So here's for my part. I will give the next to William. Thank you.
Hello everyone, this is William speaking. I will handle this part for CB acceptance, faster market access. In this slide, I will give you the worldwide small battery requirement. The first one we can see China. The mark is CQC. Currently, there are 3 standards. The first one is similar to IC 61960. The second one is similar to IC 6133. But the third one, they developed by themselves. This kind of product is for lithium battery for different application. So as you can see, the battery inspection is required, but they don't accept CB converting. The second column is for Japan, PSE mark. The regulation is Tiannan Appendix 9. right now it is mandatory in Japan market. So, but there is a different requirements for energy density. If the energy density is over 400 watt-hour per liter, it is in the scope. If less than 400 watt-hour per liter, it is not required to apply this regulation. Because this is standard. This standard is similar to IC 6133. So later I will give you some example to explain the turnaround time and the sample quantity. The next one is Korea mark, KC mark. The standard is very similar to IC 6133. And the scope is similar to Japan market. Next one is IEC, we call it CB scheme. And we can have a CB test report and a certificate. Right now, there are two versions for IC 6133, and you can apply this kind of standard. The right side is Taiwan mark, BSMI. As Slash mentioned, the standard is harmonized in IC 6133 standard, and also there are two versions we can apply. This slide is for Brazil, other country. The first one is Brazil. The mark is Anatel. The regulation, the standard is different. They call resolution 4A1. And this kind of standard is combined IC 6133 and the 61960, including performance and safety standard. This one is Russia. We will call Ghost Asia. Ghost mark. The standard is IC 6133. It's almost identical. Next one is Germany. GS mark. Because you can also issue the GS mark, so it can be invested together. Next one, we have a D mark or your EU mark. The standard we can apply for EN 6133 or EN 16950-1. This is for lithium and the nickel battery. Next one is C mark, European market, and Australia. And this is for EMI or EMS standard. So from Taiwan market, only a power bank and the battery charger will require EMI standard. This slide, I will talk about another. The first one is CTI. CTI is for North America. Wireless operator, and the standard is IEEE 1725 and 1625. This kind of standard can be applied for cell phone and for computing device, and the cell is required for factory inspection. And the next one is transportation requirement. We call UN 38.3. Because this standard is similar to IC 622A1. So this requirement, when you ship to other country or for overseas, the airline company will request to provide a test report for them to accept this kind of product is safe or not safe. Next one is Euro 2054. Is for battery. The next one is Euro 1642. Is for lithium cell. Right now, your standard is not identical to the IC standard. So if we would like to apply all the standard, the sample quantity will be different. Okay, this slide I would like to introduce for, I would like to introduce battery pack. There are two parts. The left part is for if you have the CB report or CB certificate, we can handle it like a paperwork, but we will request 3 samples for capacity measurement. Because BSMI, they also request for the rated capacity measurement. So we will have 3 samples to conduct this test. And the turnaround time is 3.5 weeks. On the right side, if you will apply many marks, and you can see the turnaround time is 6 weeks, and different requirement for the sample quantity. As I mentioned before, for Euro 2054, the sample quantity will be more, and because this standard is different to IC standard or different to CNS standard. This slide is for power bank. There are also 2 parts. The left part is based on the CB result issued by your Taiwan office. And the right side is for the new model, or you will apply many models. So the turnaround time and the sample quantity will also be different. Next one is for battery cells. Battery cells is very similar to battery pack. There are also requests to conduct rated capacity measurement. So we can see the left side, left part. There are if the CB report has been issued by your Taiwan office, the additional 5 samples will request to perform the rated capacity measurement. On the right side, if your model is brand new or will apply all the mark, the turnaround time or the sample quantity will be more. Of course, for your 1642, the additional 20 samples is required. Next one is for battery chargers. Battery charger, because the standard is IC 16950, CNS standard is also harmonized. So for the left part, there are 3 samples for the EMI testing. Of course, this is based on the CB report or CB certificate issued by your Taiwan office. The right side is the addition. The sample quantity is 20 samples to perform safety and the EMI testing. Okay, so for this slide, I just give some samples for some mark. If your product will need to have a worldwide certification or regulation, we will help you to design the sample quantity and the turnaround time. This slide I would like to introduce why choose you for BSMI service. First one, because as you can see, the standard is similar, and we can also handle many marks. So we can bundle the service and save the cost. Of course, the turnaround time will be faster and the minimal sample requirement. Because right now your Taiwan lab is CBTL, so we can reduce testing option. It's similar to minimal sample requirement. Right now your Taiwan office is very familiar with BSMI testing because we got the accreditation since 2011. Europe is the leader for battery testing and has the highest share, almost 45% in battery category. So that's why we can provide a bundle service and save the cost. Next one, we will work with our partner to provide EMI testing. So we can bundle safety and the EMI testing for power bank and the battery chargers. Because cell and the pack now require EMI testing. So for power bank, battery charger, we can handle or bundle the service. Due to the close connection between you and the BSMI expert, so we are able to alert our customer on possible regulatory changes or like technical decision in advance to clarify any question, because we have some example to have our customer to alert this kind of product need to meet what kind of standard, or they have some decision. So maybe the product will be revised the construction. So we can help you to alert our customer on the possible changes. Okay, for this slide, we give you some link. As you can see, there are Commodity Labeling Act. Because from BSMI, they request the marking based on the standard. But from Taiwan market, there are also another requirement from Commodity Labeling Act. So you can access the link to see the details. There are the Chinese and the English version. And we also have a serious online service. And the next two items is for inspection application documentation and the BSMI monthly meeting minutes. These two items are only for Chinese because the Taiwan official language is Mandarin, so they only have the decision or documentation by Chinese. Okay, I finished my part, and I will pass to Nico for the Q&A session.
Well, we have a lot of great questions that came in. We will take them in the order that they were received. The first question: can you please clarify for lithium batteries, cell and pack, power bank, and battery charger for medical devices, if they're supplied as part of the medical device, and if they're supplied standalone but used in a medical device?
Okay, this is Suresh. For the medical device, actually is out of the scope, but still, if there's any regulation to because in BSMI regulations, they always mention the accessories should be complied with the relevant standard or regulations. So we believe this kind of medical device use battery or battery cells or battery packs. When you have to import into the market, they will consider to ask you to have the BSMI certification. Thank you.
The next question that we have is on slide 16, what is RPC or MCC?
Okay, here's the slash again. For the RPC, because in BSMI certification scheme, they will have the regulation product certification scheme. We call it as the RPC. And also in this scheme, we will have also in BSMI certification scheme, they will have also voluntary scheme that we will call it the VPC, voluntary product certification scheme. And also in one of the certification scheme, there's called DOC, Declaration of Conformity. So here is the overall of the product parts. But for the NCC, actually NCC is for the wireless products like iPad, iPad, cell phone, smartphones, and some similar products. If the product is with the wireless function, then this kind of product will be considered to fall in the NCC certification scheme. But only if the product is without this kind of function, they have to consider maybe fall in the RPC scheme only. Thank you.
The next question, how exactly can we check to see if our industrial products fall under CCC category?
Okay, it's Slash again. Actually, the CCC code can be only applicable by the Taiwan local importer. To the Taiwan local importer can raise the official clarification to Taiwan customs, and usually it will take 1 month to get the official confirmation from Taiwan customer for the CCC code. But if you already import such kind of product into Taiwan market without BSMI certification, you can check with the local importer what kind of CCC code they import in previously. Thank you.
Next question, on slide 21, is Korean requirement mandatory for industrial battery or just for consumer batteries?
This is William speaking. From Korean requirement, it is for portable battery. So for industrial battery, it's not in the scope. Thank you.
Okay, the next question is a bit of a long one. I suppose the chargers with output power more than 1 kilowatt for lead acid and NiCod large batteries does not have to comply with this regulation. Am I right? I'm talking about secondary batteries for backup supply. As I understand this, concerns only consumer electronics with low power charges. Can you comment on that, please?
This is Sesh speaking. I believe so. I also consider, because if we consider about the IEC 60950 or IEC 60065, actually they will have the maybe low power products. But for the special use, I would suggest to provide us more information. Then we can clarify with the BSMI Section 3 or Department 3 for more details. Thank you.
Next question. If a standalone or spare battery used for a product not in CCC category is shipped into Taiwan, even though the end product is not in CCC category, must the standalone or spare battery be tested to BSMI?
This is Nicole. Yes, if you're shipping a spare part into Taiwan, as a battery in as a spare part, or a repairing in Taiwan, then the battery would need to have to meet the BSMI requirement.
Slash, did you have anything to add?
No, actually, I think this kind of battery might be also considered to, because in BSMI regulation, it's mentioned if this kind of product is in different CCC code, but if the product name is also lithium battery, then this kind of product should be complied with better BSMI new regulations. Thank you. Supplement is mentioned in the notes of the regulation. Thank you.
So the answer is yes.
Yes.
Okay, thank you, Nicole.
You're welcome.
The next question is, are button cell batteries installed in equipment out of scope?
Hello, this is Sesh. To mention about the button type of the battery is out of scope, right? It's certain.
Do we have any other questions for our experts? I think that's it. Wonderful. Thank you all so much for attending. A copy of the slides and recording will be available after the webinar. We appreciate your time. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you, everyone.